draft. GM Kevin Colbert said the team will eventually continue dialogue with Bell's reps, but there's no update on a deal. The Steelers put the franchise tag on Bell for the second straight year, but have until July 16th to execute a long-term one. Max, what's your takeaway from the contract situation between Bell and the Steelers that keeps lingering out?
My takeaway from the situation with Le'Veon Bell and the Pittsburgh Steelers is that Saquon Barkley should be taken with your highest draft pick. Whoever you are, you got to take Saquon Barkley if he's available. And the reason I say that is this. The way it works with running backs, you don't have to pay them at first on their rookie deal like all players. And then eventually their deal comes up. You can franchise them if they're worth it. You can franchise them again. You can franchise them again, right? Before you have to give him the real contract. By that time, the running back, as Le'Veon Bell will be, is 27, 28 years old. Now, everyone knows running backs decline right around 30. And everyone also knows, or should, that guaranteed money in the NFL is based on the length of the deal because they prorate that deal, meaning if they say, here's $30 million over 3 years and a bonus, that means like $10 million a year, right? So the longer you can play, the guaranteed money will go up. And since everyone knows running backs hit that wall or start to decline around 29, 30 years old, if you're 28 by the time you're getting the contract, that contract's number will be down. Now, the player's getting screwed here, right? Like, this is bad for the player, bad for the running back, bad for Le'Veon Bell. But it's a zero-sum game in a hard cap league, meaning even if what's good for the team is bad for the player and vice versa, meaning that's very good for the team. When you draft a running back who's a stud, he hits the ground running, you get production right away, and you never really have to pay him. That's good for the team. That should increase Saquon Barkley's draft status in terms of where he's picked.
Listen, here's my deal. All of that's fine. Nobody can dispute that. But the reality of the situation is the Steelers and a whole bunch of teams are going to get to a point where, you know, they're pushing guys to a point where guys are going to engage in insubordination on the football field. You got a situation with Le'Veon Bell. He had 321 carries. All right. And then if you recall, he also had 85 receptions. That's 406 touches. And then now you want to hesitate to give him his money after having such a productive season. It's similar to me what I remember happening to DeMarco Murray when Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys ran him into the ground with over 390 carries, if I remember correctly, only to sit up there and say, well, we don't really want to pay you. And he had to end up becoming a Philadelphia Eagle before he moved on to Tennessee. You want to run these guys into the ground and then use it as an excuse not to pay them thereafter. At some point in time, if you can't find it within yourself as an organization to pay Le'Veon Bell what the numbers and his level of productivity says he deserves, then we've got a problem. And that's what I think needs to be brought up here. I'm not saying that they didn't make him an offer. I'm not saying that the numbers that they offered him wasn't impressive if you're thinking about other players, but based on his level of production, combined as a running back, combined with a legitimate argument that he is the number 2 most viable receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of usage and productivity, there is no denying that he deserves at least close to what he's asking for. And the fact that you're not willing to give it to him, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Maybe you don't hold out. But maybe what you sit up there and say is, Coach, you need to call somebody else's number a little bit more, because I'd be damned if I'm going to put myself, if I'm going to,
you know what you're saying, Stephen A?
To this kind of stuff.
I mean, basically, don't hate. No, exactly. Well, I'll say my response to that is don't hate the player, hate the game. Although in this case, the player makes the rules of the game, and that's the owners. Look, the NFL, other positions take time to develop and have longer shelf life, right? You draft a quarterback or left tackle, and the first couple of years they're no good, but they catch on slow and they can play until their mid-late 30s. That guy's going to make a fortune. But a running back, rookie year, can be an elite player, and he can stay that way for 6, 7 years before he starts to decline. But by then, his time's up, and he never got the really big contract because everyone knows he's going to start to decline earlier. He's going to be good early when they don't have to get paid, and not good later when it's time to get paid. Running backs are in a terrible position, but because of that, in fact, they're being drafted too low. In fact, the fear that teams have that they won't have long careers, they should be thinking about it differently. They should think, think we're going to get immediate production and sustained production and never really have to pay for it. Saquon Barkley should, as a result, go #1 overall, unless someone totally thinks Sam Darnold or someone is sure shot. Then I understand maybe #2. But Barkley should be taken way up high.
Definitely way up high. Definitely better than, before two of those quarterbacks, since nobody seems to be hell-bent on them.
Yeah, it's better for the team. It's cheaper and more productive for the next 7-8 years for the team.
We shall see. Bell, meanwhile, has racked up over 1,000 yards from scrimmage and at least 8 total TDs in 4 of his last 5 seasons. Up next, the Giants say they want to keep Odell Beckham, but what should he want? Would he be more appreciated somewhere else with all these rumors going around? And we've got some breaking news about the Ball family. Is one of the brothers ready to get out of Lithuania? We will explain. Don't go anywhere.
I want you to go really